Slack has over 32 million daily active users. Most of them believe that their direct messages are private. And the truth is, they're not.
That's invasion of privacy. Thank you very much.
Well, not in the way that they think it is anyway. And as an IT decision maker, that's the serious problem. It has massive implications on your organization. So give me a few minutes, right? Let's walk through exactly what Slack captures, what admins can access, and where most organizations are completely exposed. So give me a few minutes, we'll go through it all. Now, why am I doing this video? I recently put together this video here where I discuss Microsoft Teams and how it monitors activity and how it can monitor people working from home, right? Now, there were thousands and thousands of comments in there, all asking for this video. Is it the same with Slack? So, I've done some digging, did a little bit of research, and in this video, I'm going to break down the activity that Slack can monitor. Now, let's start with the basics, right? Because there's a lot of confusion out there, even among experienced IT professionals, as evidenced by the comments that I had. Slack does store data, and not just a little bit of it, it stores all of it. Every single message, every file, every reaction, every edit, every deletion, the data sits on Slack servers, and really, depending on your subscription plan, it can be accessed by people inside the organization in ways that most of your employees would find, quite frankly, uncomfortable.
You're making me very uncomfortable. Please leave.
And the final caveat though, this video is designed just to show you what is being collected. It's not about morals. It's not about whether you should be using this data or not. I'll leave that decision up to you, right? I'm just kind of showing you what's really happening. Now, here's the reality for most organizations, right? You're probably on one of 4 Slack plans. You've got the free, the pro, the business plus, or the enterprise grid. And the plan that you're on determines exactly how much of that data that your admins can pull. This is where it gets relatively interesting, specifically if you're into this sort of stuff, and where most organizations have absolutely no idea what they're actually sitting on, right? Let me walk you through it. Let's talk about what Slack is collecting, and I mean specifically. Now, it's collecting every message that you send, public channel, private channel, group DM, one-to-one DMs. It's all stored on Slack servers, and that includes messages that you've edited. That includes messages that you've deleted. They're gone from the interface, yes, but depending on the retention settings that you have, they're still in the database. Every file that you've updated or uploaded, every app connected to your workspace, every login, when, what device, what location, it's all in there. And the truth is, Slack is an incredibly rich data environment, and most organizations have absolutely no idea what's sitting inside of it. They nonchalantly put all of their comments on the Slack channels and expect it to be hidden. It's not really. Now, this matters for 2 reasons, right? Firstly, data governance. What is your retention policy, right? How long are you holding messages for? Because if you're keeping 5 years worth of DM data with no legal reason to do so, that's actually a liability. It's not an asset. You don't need it. Secondly, and this is the bigger one, who in your organization has admin access to that data right now? Do you know where they can see it? Do they know what they can see? And does your legal team know as well, right? So that's the other big thing. Now, there's some B-roll for you. Oh, hang on. Slack message. Ironic, innit? Here's where it gets specific, and this is the part that most people get completely wrong, right? Let me break down the payment structure for you. On the free and the pro plans, workspace admins can export public channel messages only. Private channels and DMs are completely off limits. On a basic plan, your private messages are genuinely private from your employer. Business Plus changes that completely. So if you're on a Business Plus plan, that completely changes. Slack, that in this plan, provides access to the discovery and export API. It's work, and any workspace admin can request an export that includes private channels, direct messages, every DM, every private channel conversation, all with your name on it, right? So that's within that package there. Now, there is a catch, right? Slack requires organizations to notify members before exporting the DMs. But here's the reality. That notification can sit inside your IT acceptable use policy within your contract. You know, the one that every new employee agrees to on day one, that don't even read because it's, line item number 46. Written in 2019 and no one's ever bothered to read it and no one's updated it. That's where that sits. Now that's an interesting concept, isn't it, right? People working from home, hybrid working, everyone's doing it at the moment. There's a massive strategy around it. Remote participants. How do you ensure that you've got productive work in place with a productive workforce if you don't have any of those accountability measures in place? Now, I'll tell you one thing for sure, right? Your working strategy simply won't work if you've not got the correct technology implementation in place in the first place. It won't. You can have all these nice working from home strategies, but it won't work if the technology is wrong. It's that exact subject that I break down in my upcoming book, Work Isn't Working. It's with the publishers at the moment. The release date's yet to be confirmed, but if you do want early access to that book, then check out the link below, join the wait list, and as soon as it's ready, I'll send you a notification, give you a 20% discount, and you can take the book from there, right? Nice, easy, bite-sized chunks on exactly how to implement workplace technology. So go check that out in the link below. Back to Slack though, right? Here's something that almost nobody talks about. Slack itself is one thing, but organizations can also connect third-party applications directly into their Slack workspace. Some of those integrations take monitoring to a completely different level. Again, morally, do people do this? I don't know. Legally, do people do it? In Europe, certainly GDPR makes an effect, but this is the capability. It is capable of doing it. Tools like Aware, Terramind, they operate as Slack integrations. They index every message across your entire workspace in real time. AI flags sentiment, managers receive alerts for negative conversations, productivity scores are generated based on message frequency and response times. That's not management, is it? That's surveillance. And it's costing organizations their employees trust, especially when they're working from home, even when they don't know it's happening, because the minute they find out it's happening, you've lost trust of the employees, right? Now, most organizations don't use these tools. I've just said it a few minutes ago, but large enterprises do, and they have the capability to do so. And the employees using Slack, they have absolutely no idea that they can see all of this stuff.
Because you. All along it was you!
So this is the honest conversation IT needs to have, because there's a difference between having the capability to monitor Slack and actually doing it in the first place. And as an IT leader, you often sit in the middle of that decision. What should you actually do with all of this information? It's great, right? Me talking rubbish to you and telling you about the capabilities that Slack has. So what? Let's get practical about this. Firstly, audit your admin access. Who currently has admin or owner access to your Slack workplace? Do they know what they can see? Does HR know? Because this shouldn't be an IT only conversation. This is an organization conversation. Specifically, if you have remote working employees, you need to make sure that the trust is maintained. Secondly, review your retention settings. Slack lets you configure retention per channel, right? Are you retaining everything indefinitely? If so, why? What's the business case? Because holding data that you don't need is a risk. You don't need it. So if you've got data in there that's 5 years old, do you need it? Have a think about that. And then thirdly, update your accessible use policy. If this is the policy within the contract, if your organization is on the Business Plus or Enterprise Grid and employees' DMs could be accessed, that needs to be communicated clearly, not buried in some legal small print. It needs to be clearly communicated. In many jurisdictions, this isn't even good governance. It's actually a legal requirement, especially within UK and Europe. Fourth thing then, loop in legal and HR, because the question of whether you should access employees' messages isn't a technical question. It's a legal and it's an ethical one. IT should not be making that call alone, and certainly business owners should be responsible from a legal perspective to ensure they're doing the right thing. Now that's proactive, it's not reactive. Whether you're managing 20 people on Slack or 20,000 people with remote and hybrid working policies in place, that's the 4-step process that you need to be following. Now, I've done loads of research and putting this video together. We don't always use Slack. We got it for a bunch of channels, hence the Slack message I got a few minutes ago. But in putting that research together, here's the truth that I found about Slack. It is genuinely an excellent collaboration tool. Most organizations use it responsibly, right? Most employees have nothing to worry about in terms of their employer actively reading their messages. A little bit of scaremongering. The capabilities are there. Most people don't need to worry about it. And that's it, right? The organizations that handle this well are the ones that are transparent about it. They have clear policies, they communicate that openly, and they treat the data governance as a genuine priority rather than just a box ticking exercise in your contract where it's buried on page 44. The workplace as we live it, we're all living at the moment, the workplace has changed. Collaboration lives in platforms now, Slack, Teams, Zoom, WebEx, which means your governance framework needs to have adopted those changes as well. And if it hasn't, that is the conversation that you need to be having, because the technology in your collaboration estate, working from home, all of that is only as trustworthy as the policies that you got built around it and the culture that you build around that as well. If you want to get ahead of this, you want to use a framework to implement the technologies within your workplace, then go ahead and join the waitlist for our upcoming book, Work Isn't Working. I'll let you know as soon as it's released. The link is in the description below. And if this video is useful for you, subscribe. There's loads more coming on this exact topic because it's clear that people want to hear about it. This video here is a result of the comments that came from people asking about this stuff, right? It came from this video where we discussed Microsoft Teams and how it watches your activity. So go check that out. See you on the next video.